Michael McDowell here, NAND Research, coming to you live from the great state of Texas, no place I'd rather be. You know, guys, we're going to do something a little different today. Just a quick video on something I found interesting. Not really blog worthy, but something I just wanted to get out there and talk to you guys about, give you something to think about. So before I get into this, I have to say I'm stepping out of my lane just a bit. I don't usually talk about the economics of data centers, and I certainly avoid discussing geopolitical issues, at least publicly, but we find ourselves in a unique situation that I wanted to put out there on the table for all of you guys to see. So the headline of the day, Iran did what? Like I said, this isn't a geopolitical rant. It's about data centers and what happens when you build them in places where the risk register looks like a bingo card of things that keep CISOs awake at night. That's my only joke, I promise. Because when a drone strike hits a facility in a high-risk region, the blast radius isn't local. It's global, including your cloud bill, which did nothing wrong and still gets punished. So let's clear up a popular misconception. Companies don't build data centers in high-risk countries because they enjoy danger or because the power is cheap. Cheap power's in the brochure, sure, but the real drivers are data sovereignty laws, political pressure. You want access to our market? Build it here. Then you have contract requirements where banks and guys like oil and gas majors and governments demand in-country compute. And I don't blame them. Let's not forget market access. You can't sell cloud services in a region if you don't have a region. In other words, this is not an engineering decision. It's a geopolitical compliance exercise disguised as infrastructure planning. Let me tell you, nothing says fun weekend project like building a tier 4 facility because a regulator said please, and you know they weren't asking. Now, here's the part that doesn't get a lot of press. When a data center in a high-risk region gets hit, say by an Iranian drone strike, the cost doesn't stay in Bahrain or UAE. It gets shared across the global customer base. You have failover, emergency scaling, hardware replacements, SLA credits, insurance gaps. All of it rolls into a giant shared economic model that we politely call the cloud. And according to Yahoo Finance, who has a really great article on this topic, by the way, insurers are refusing to cover $150 million in damages from an Iranian drone strike in the Middle East. Translation to that? That bill is going somewhere. And somewhere usually means all of us. Okay? So why are these data centers being attacked? And why now? And I find this really interesting, right? Because the cloud has become the AI brainstem, it's way more than just storage and compute. Iran's logic for the strike was that these facilities host the massive AI models used for regional military intelligence. Isn't that supposed to be a secret? I don't know. Anyway, when your CPU or your GPU cluster becomes part of the kill chain, your data center becomes a legitimate military target. So congratulations. Your cloud bill just helped rebuild a data center you did not know existed in a country you probably never even visited because someone's AI model made the wrong person nervous, the guy with missiles. Anyway, a drone strike isn't just a deadly, scary, destructive, kinetic event. It's something that triggers a cascade of events. Regional failovers, capacity shortages, emergency procurement. I know from experience, that's very expensive. Insurance disputes, aka expensive lawyers, regulatory reporting, probably more expensive lawyers, customer credits, and let's not forget reputational fallout. All of this because the low-cost region turned out to have hidden fees. This is why we're seeing a massive pivot, or a pivot, to sovereign cloud. Governments and large enterprises are realizing they can't just assume a hyperscaler region is safe. They're building hardened, localized, air-gapped infrastructure because they know the shared model is great, right up until drones enter the chat. That is the part cloud providers don't put in the brochure. So, what's the takeaway here? Building data centers in high-risk countries isn't inherently wrong. No problem with that. But it's not a cheap infrastructure play. It's a geopolitical bet. And when that bet goes sideways, the bill gets split across thousands of customers who had zero input in the decision. If you're a cloud buyer, this is why region selection, redundancy strategy, and sovereignty matter more than ever. If you're a cloud provider, this is why cheap power should never outrank operational resilience. So the next time you see a headline that makes you say, Iran did what? Just remember, somewhere a data center operator is updating the risk register and your cloud bill is quietly preparing to help pay for it. So like I said, no blog from me. I just wanted to get that one out there. If you are interested in reading more of my thoughts on other topics, head on over to NAN Research's main site, and I put, for your convenience, a pretty little blog down in the comments.